Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of the Connect Cape Fear podcast. I am your host, Rob Rens. Today, we are joined by franchise owner Russell Ebelherr from Gameday Men's Health. I'm super excited to have this conversation because I love men's health. I think it's super important. And we were talking off camera a little bit about some of the things that you guys do, some of the things that you offer. Right in my wheelhouse. So I think we're going to have a great conversation.
Absolutely.
Russell, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having us. Excited to talk.
Absolutely. Yeah. And for those of you that don't know if this is your first time coming to the Connect Cape Fear podcast, what we do is we discuss local issues in and around the Cape Fear region. And so it's a great resource for tourists, for locals, for newcomers to find connection and community in this fantastic place that we call home. And we do that by having really cool conversations with really cool people. So Russell, we'll start with, how long have you been in the Wilmington area for?
Yeah, I've lived in the Wilmington area 35 years. Came here after college at ECU.
Okay.
Yep. So born.
Are they having a good football season this year? The ECU contends every once in a while, right?
Once in a while. Average.
Yeah.
Average again.
Well, 35 years, that makes you a true local, right? Anybody else, I think, that got here before 2019, I think that was the line of demarcation to being a Howley and being an original.
Seen a lot of change.
Yeah.
3 kids born and raised here, so it's been a wonderful experience. Love the region.
What's it like raising a family here?
For me, it's been wonderful. Absolutely a great area. On top of the weather being fantastic, lots to do, very family-oriented type of city and town. Kids went to Wrightsville Beach Elementary. I mean, not much better than that.
Yeah. We see so many new families that are moving in here. That's why we moved here. We moved here in 19, and my daughters were 4 and not even 1 at the time. And we lived in Atlanta, and it was just like, I want to get out of the big city.
Yeah.
I want to go to a place where we can know a lot of people, but also have great geography around us and things to do. And people here just seem to be genuinely happy. And why wouldn't you? Traffic is fairly low, although it's probably increased considerably in the 35 years that you've been here. Weather's great. It's October 5th right now, and I think we've got an 80-degree local summer type of day without all the tourists coming in that we see May to September.
Absolutely. Yeah, weather's fantastic. Like you said, people are great. Lots to do.
Yep.
Lots of places to go that are close, whether you're going to Raleigh or out west, things like that. So totally enjoy it.
There's still a chance to live here if you want to.
Absolutely.
And when you come, you can be a part of great businesses, much like Gameday Men's Health. So tell us, we were talking about kind of 4 pillars to the stool, but really obviously it's right there in the name. It's about men's health, but
absolutely,
that can mean a lot of different things. Can you kind of encapsulate maybe with what the mission is of Gameday and how you guys go about treating men?
Yeah, so appreciate that. So Gameday Men's Health is actually a national franchise. They started in Carlsbad, California, about 6 years, with the mission to help improving the lives of men, but just not like men, Rob, you're former military. It's also to help your families, because if you're suffering from low T sometimes looks like depression. Low T looks like weight loss. Low T looks like many different things. And so the mission is really to improve the lives of men, treat them like kings in this man cave type environment that we have. Take away that stigma of going to the doctor's office where it's real easy for them to come in and out of what we do. And my business partner, Will Connect, and I loved it so much because we're kind of those fitness guys and we love helping people just in general and their families, that we own the 2 clinics here in Wilmington. The franchise itself nationally has now been sold out. And we own 9 other clinics in the Southeast as well that we're looking forward to get up and ready. But back to your question more so, the 4 pillars. So it's TRT, which is testosterone replacement therapy, right? A weekly injection. We also have weight loss. So everybody's heard about the semaglutides, the Ozempics, Wegovy's. We have that for men as well, but we also have it for women too. Want to bring your wife, girlfriend, that's good too. We have vitamin therapy and injections, whether it's B12 or other kind of vitamin mixes. We do that for you as well. And then we also have a whole thing around sexual performance, erectile enhancements, optimizations for guys of all kinds of ages, libido low, not performing well.
Yeah.
And so far, so good. It's been widely received very well.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned the military population. I see it within my community a lot, but then the broader, male community that I'm involved with, like, all of those things sort of manifest themselves in a number of different ways. Like, you're low on energy. Right. You talked about low testosterone can look like depression. Depression can look like avoidance behavior. you don't have that zest for life that you want anymore. And in the military community specifically, that leads to some dark places. Typically, it can go to self-medicating, and sometimes a final solution. So obviously, stuff like this helps avoid end of life by improving quality of life.
You're absolutely right. It's not just a pill anymore, right? I think you know best if whether it's military, others, men are depressed. Here's a pill. Take a pill. It's going to fix everything.
Yeah,
it's not fixing anything. If we can get men back to no shame in your game, is like we like to say. You need to know your T levels, right? If you're below the levels you should be, we have enough science and medical advancements today to make you feel good, like you're in your 20s. To have that energy, have that zest for life, have that confidence, whatever that looks like for you. And we've had guys walk into clinics weeks later now saying, you're not going to believe this, guys, but you've really saved my life to a degree.
Yeah.
My wife says, like, who are you? My kids are like, Dad's so nice now. So it affects mental health tremendously as well.
Yeah.
It's not the stigma that you want to get big and strong. I mean, we have the gym guys. That's the low-hanging fruit kind of guys. But it's just the regular average Joes that are out there that are trying to lose weight, get the confidence back, depression, whatever that looks like. And we're big proponents of the military.
Yeah.
And the first responders, sheriff's department, police departments in here in town, we've got amazing special discounts for all of them.
Yeah. You talked about the weight loss. I think that's so important. Like right now, our food is probably the worst it's ever been, at least what you go get off the grocery stores. We've pushed more and more into processed foods. There's ingredients in most foods that you buy at the grocery store that people have no idea what they are. It's all science food.
Right.
And so, you see this obesity epidemic within men that probably affects hormone levels.
Sure.
And so talk a little bit about the weight loss part of it and what y'all's process is.
You hit it right on the head there, because today, as you know, in America, we allow things at our fast food restaurants, our grocery stores, our cereals, to put pesticides, to put chemicals, red dyes that other countries don't allow today. So it's putting good stuff in your body, healthy, knowing your T levels from the weight loss management side of things. The Wegovy's and the Ozempics and other things that we have to prescribe for our men, we make it real easy for them. They come into our clinic, which makes us so different. Set up an appointment. It's a man cave. You don't have to go to a regular doctor's office, get your GP to tell you to go to this guy, that woman. It's all very quick and
you
simple.
Just walk right in. I don't need a referral.
You can do walk-ins.
Yeah.
We like the appointments because we do set up time with our staff. So we have a board-certified physician at every clinic, and we have medical assistants as well. Then we have a patient care coordinator at the front desk. You walk into this man cave type environment. They're all branded the same, kind of red and black. ESPN's on the walls, sports pictures. We give you a drink, your beverage, a snack. As soon as you come in, we do the blood for you. You don't have to go to any other labs, or LabCorp. We take your blood, okay, and we spin it with our own machines. While your blood's being spun, the physician comes down, takes you back, and gives you a free consultation. All that within 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah.
You walk out of there with a consultation, doesn't cost you a dime whether you want or not. She talks to you or he talks to you about what your symptoms are, what you're struggling from. How can we help you? We're a proactive men's concierge clinic. Like nothing else around there. With those results back in 10 minutes, we know your testosterone level, and guess what? We know your prostate level too. That was just last month, prostate cancer for September. So we know those levels, and we also know your hemoglobin. And then we do follow-up with you. Rob, you come in there 6 weeks later, we want you to come back, get your blood done again. No cost. After the 6 months, then we're periodically hitting you up every 2 months or so to make sure your levels are good. No extra cost.
Yeah. Can you talk about how important lifestyle is in connection with all of this? If we talk, my wife is in the business, right? And her thing is about like detox, opening up drainage pathways. Like if you've got extra weight, if you've got sluggish, organs working, if you bring all this good stuff in, that's great. But if your cells, your mitochondria doesn't have room for good stuff to come in before bad stuff goes out, like you're not really doing much there. So, when you go through the weight loss, whether it's the Ozempics or any of the peptides that we talk about, if you're not changing your lifestyle, you're not really going to get long-term results from it.
Sure.
Can you comment on that part of it?
Well, you're right. I mean, we know in America everybody's looking for the magic pill.
Right.
And,
They're too lazy about that stuff.
Very lazy. So, we encourage, we're not a fitness center, but we partner with a lot of other places here in town, whether it's chiropractors, physicians, nutrition companies that we partner with. So if we can't help them, we know where to send them. And a lot of guys especially come to us and say, hey, I want to work out. Where should I go? We have a list of personal trainers we can recommend to. We have nutrition shops, chiropractors, whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, the weight loss is going to make you lose weight. Like you said, you still have to go to the gym. You have to do something.
Right.
The number one anti-aging way is to lift weights, right? Some sort of resistance training. You got to get out there with resistance training and cardio. And we're the first kind of layer for that, to do that and give these guys and their families, a better way of life.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, here's a hot tip. Drink distilled water. Stop
Right.
drinking tap water.
Right, sure.
And eat whole foods. Those are two easy lifestyle changes
Yeah.
that supports everything that y'all do for men.
And then one thing that we are implementing here very soon, we've been open 5 months in Wilmington. We're now going to try to do community type events at our clinic at nighttime or Saturday mornings when it's game day football, wherever their ESPN is coming from, to bring guys in with their families, with their wives, bring other people, and just talk about health and wellness.
Yeah.
A TED Talk on health and wellness. Bring a guy like yourself in to talk about your experiences, what works for you or your wife, and get all these people together to help improve the lives of everyone from that health and wellness stuff. Because it's a hard thing to bring people together, but we really feel like that's a passion of Will's and ours, is to help other folks and their families.
That's so smart. Yeah, I'll recommend one for you. You guys probably already have this on your curriculum. Like, do a grocery shopping list. Like,
Right.
I see so many people still putting seed oils and canola and all this other inflammatory just motor oil gunk in their shopping carts when I'm going through it. Like, cut that stuff out immediately. Like, here's your grocery list.
Right.
Start there. Diet right, exercise.
Sure.
The blood, I think taking the blood samples is so important.
Yeah.
Like that's like trying to fly a plane without any instruments, I see guys all the time like, well, if I just work out more, if I do more cardio, if I like that, okay, maybe you might get some minimal results, but you'll plateau. Like, you need to know what's going on inside. You could be hovering around 250, 300 T levels when you should be at 1,000, 11, 1,200, something like that.
Rob, what's been so surprising for us and the franchise across the country is how many guys in their 20s and 30s are coming to us. It's not a 45-plus-year-old kind of low T thing because of exactly what you said.
Yeah.
What we're eating, what we're drinking, what we're smelling, that's coming in our air. Young kids born, with T levels below 200, and they're 28 years old.
That's a problem.
And yeah, it's obvious that older guys, but 90+% of all the guys that have come through our doors, they've come through because they know something was wrong.
Yeah.
Right. And those 90+% of them, about 99% of them were having low T outside of other medical issues. Now, with that being said, we've had guys come in that had other medical issues that we couldn't even help them, but we were there to say, hey, you've got to go back to this doctor or this particular specialty because we're finding that your hemoglobin's really high, your PSA is really high, and we can't treat you. That's not what we do.
Yeah. Is that so for those younger guys, the 20s and 30s? I'm still in the 30s. Thankfully, I'll be 40 next year. But is it all like lifestyle driven, like sedentary lifestyle and, drinking sodas and ton of sugar and processed food? Is that what's...
A lot of it is, and a lot of it is just evolution of man, that their testosterone levels are lower than what they should be to what, statistically doctors say.
Yeah.
I love doctors for specialties, but we also have guys come in and say, well, my doctor told me my T level's good because I can do this or that. And we're testing them and they're below 300. So you're not good.
Yeah.
You're not good. There's no reason you can't be between 700 and 1,000. But let's get you there and see how you feel.
Yeah.
The results for the mass majority have been, fantastic. Having that energy, that confidence, and you know what? Sleep too. That's another thing.
Yeah.
Low T could look like sleep, apnea sometimes as well.
Yeah, well, and you talked about, like sexual performance and libido and, biology. All this stuff contributes to it. And so, I look at my life now. I'm at the point where I'm starting to look at decades, right? Like my 20s, I tried everything. I pushed myself to the absolute limit that I could when I was in the military. And then the 30s, I got a little bit smarter and it was more about family and career and community. And now going into my 40s and then looking ahead to my 50s, 60s, 70s, like I really want to focus on my physical health. What I do in each decade will apply 10 years down the road or 20 years down the road.
Absolutely.
Choices I make in my 40s are going to mean, do I have a strong quality of life in my 70s and 80s and maybe even beyond? So
yeah, there's no reason your kids, you, me, my kids can't live a really long life.
Yeah.
I'm talking 90s to 100
Yeah.
with today's medicines and scientific medicine and ways that we have to improve our life. There's good reason guys like Joe Rogan and Dr. Huberman
Right.
and all Ben Greenfield are doing what they do. There's ways to prevent aging,
yeah.
by a lot of things that we talked about, but you've got to get on the ball now. And that's where a lot of these peptides come in as well. Our society, as you know, we like to give pills. We're not a pill place. We're trying to be proactive to treat you for the deficiency. We don't want to treat you or supplement you just to supplement you.
Yeah.
You know how it is. The fads through the years, right? In your 20s, 30s, hey, let's
I remember
take this.
hydroxycut.
Let's take this, take this, right?
Methamphetamines given
Right.
people, yeah.
You have to get, and we also do full blood panels that we'll charge people for too, because if you're saying you got all these other symptoms, let's get your blood and let's look at it. And if we can help you in some way, we will. If we can't, we'll move you to one of our partners.
Yeah.
Because again, back to that mental state of mind. A lot of it is mental. A lot of it is that mental wellness.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think with men in particular, like with the essence of this conversation, if somebody's sitting here and they're watching, like, yeah, I want to get involved. It starts with your decision, and that nobody can make that for you. Like, you have to commit to this stuff, and the more information that we have now, you rattled off some great podcasts. There's just so much information about biohacking and human optimization, and having good quality of life. But nothing changes until you change.
That's right.
And you could go to great places like yours and have all the energy, but if you don't commit to it and you're not like, I'm doing this because I want to be better for myself, so I could be better for my wife, for my kids, for my employer, for my employees, any of those things, nothing, you're just going to keep living the same lifestyle. And you'd be like, well, I don't know why I don't have a good life.
Right. And that's
because you're choosing not to.
That's right. It's what you choose. And that's what attracted Will and I as we were looking for different, passive incomes and non-food franchises. When we saw this, was that this is going to help tons and tons of people. But again, you have to make that choice to do something.
Yeah.
And with us, men, as you know, they don't like going to doctors.
Yeah.
They don't like sitting in line. They don't want to walk in and see a room full of people and then they've got people looking at them for whatever reason. Maybe they're in there for low libido. Maybe things aren't working correct. They don't want to be there. We make it real easy for them. You'll never see more than 2 or 3 guys in our waiting area because we booked the time specifically for you. If you're supposed to be there today at 1 o'clock, it's your appointment. And we make it real easy to come in and out. We don't ask you to go give blood somewhere else and wait 2 weeks for results. And again, I always like to say the value proposition is this. It's a free test. It's a free consultation with a board-certified physician.
Yeah.
If that's all you do, you're out of there for nothing.
Yeah, you walk away knowing a little bit more about yourself.
That's
What's
right.
the risk?
Yep.
Yeah. It's funny, when I saw the branding and everything, now that we're talking about a little bit more, marketers are super smart, right? Like men respond to white, black, and red for some reason. And I'm starting to get kind of like a little bit of the sports clip vibes to it too. You know, it was like the lobby has to be right. There should be sports on.
That's
like,
right.
And I'm all for masculinity, the right level of masculinity.
Right.
You know, and so I love businesses that go, okay, I understand what makes men go. And because I'm fortunate, I'm in a situation where I have a wife who's a medical professional.
Right.
And I don't have to go to a doctor's office.
Yeah.
But I won't go to a doctor's office. You know, I've got VA care and I've got back problems. I got to go see acupuncturists and stuff like that. And my mom's always like, "Why don't you go to the VA? Why don't you go to the VA?" And I'm like, I don't want to go there. Right. I don't like the environment. I feel, I don't know, self-doubt sometimes, imposter syndrome.
Sure.
But then there's also the silent audience thing. Like, it's just not a comfortable place for me to be.
Right.
So for a man to be able to go somewhere and go, I'm comfortable in this environment. Yep. It's convenient for me. Yep. But then I'm also going to actually learn something about myself that I can apply to have greater quality of life. That sounds like a home run. And like, not saying this because you're on this podcast, but no wonder they sold out all those franchises so quick, because there's a need for it and a market for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Men tend to do exactly that. We tend to stuff things in general. We tend to, that mantra, be the man of the house.
Yeah.
You know, they don't want to even go for a cold. They got to be on their deathbed before they go to a doctor. So again,
Guilty.
Try to, urge them. It's very proactive. Get ahead of the curve, and that's where the success of
Yeah.
Game Day has come, because there's no other franchise or clinic like this where you can get your blood tested within 10 minutes, get the consultations, and then move forward from
Yeah.
there. We have guys that are walking into the office sometimes, and we know that you're coming and you've got that relationship with our MA. She's got your root beer and bag of granola when you walk through the door.
Yeah.
It's that kind of like Cheers mentality where
Yeah.
everybody's becoming part of
Norm.
the yeah. So it's been wonderful.
Can I use insurance for this? Can I use my HSA or my FSA?
HSA, FSA,
Okay.
but not insurance.
Okay.
And if you have something that can be covered by insurance, we'll recommend you trying to get it through your doctor.
Okay.
But we also know that today you can't even get a testosterone test from your doctor unless
Yeah.
you come in there with all the symptoms.
Yeah.
I tried that first case. Can't give you one. You're too healthy. How do you know I'm healthy?
Yeah.
Until I take the test.
Yeah, right? Exactly. Yeah. Well,
So
you
between
look
the
healthy.
insurance companies of what they're backing out of and where our health system works today, it's very difficult.
Yeah, I think cash pay businesses for this type of stuff is it's
Right.
better for the consumer too.
Right.
So good on you.
It's a subscription type model. If you're
Okay.
on TRT, you pay it every month or you pay it up front. We also have one more thing that we're introducing to those 4 pillars is, we call it Brotox, but it's really at the end of the day, it's Botox, right?
Okay.
Men in this whole health and wellness journey are seeing their wives and girlfriends, get those crow's feet and the lines on their foreheads taken away. And so we're offering that at certain clinics that we have as well as an option for men.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Well, so you talked a little bit about maybe some of the future, the things you're wanting to do, community events, people come in,
Yes.
just learn. Are there any other communities, organizations, things that you and Will like to get involved in that helps men, helps families, anything like that? Nonprofit work or anything?
Great question. I mean, as soon as we started back in April, May, we did the golf tournament at Cape Fear Country Club and sponsored a hole for the Cape Fear Museum.
Nice.
We done something for the children in the child advocacy program like that. Miracle Network, we're starting to do things with as well. Being that we're both here for so long, it's so important for us to give back to the community. And we did reach out to even our public county employees through different offices, whether it's the sheriff's or police department, said, hey, listen, we're here for you.
Yeah.
And we're so here for you. We're going to offer you this that actually no one else in the country is offering. We went below what corporate gave us to take care of our military, first responders, and different departments within the county.
Yeah. Police, fire, EMS, military, good chance that you have lower testosterone levels than what you should naturally have. Just that's a consequence of the job.
That's right.
So if you're like, man, I'm not performing in any one of these areas, it's probably because your hormones are wrong, your diet's probably not right. I've seen it happen to dozens of people prior to meeting you, Russell. Like that was the problem, and then they got their life back. And I've heard people say to my wife and some people that she's worked with, yes, this saved my life. So don't walk, run to Game Day Men's Health. Do you guys have a website somewhere that people can go to book their appointment?
You can go to Google and just do, Game Day Men's Health. You can use words like testosterone or vitamin injection or ED, whatever it looks like.
Yeah.
Our SEO team works really hard for us at corporate. Walk-ins are perfectly fine. Bring a friend, bring your wife. We have guys that do bring their wives. This is a decision they have to make together sometimes from a financial standpoint.
I think it should be. I think a lot of these types of appointments, these things that we're talking about, should be done with your spouse because so many times, like, men, like you said, we sometimes suffer in silence. We don't always say what we think the issue is, and it requires some vulnerability to walk into a place like yours. Bring your spouse with you, bring your partner with you. They'll learn something more than before you walked in there. But then also, if you guys are recommending lifestyle changes, it takes 2 people in a household to be able to do that.
100%.
Yeah. Good.
It's exciting for us because, now 5 months into the business, we actually just opened our 3rd clinic up in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, on September 9th. And again, the response has been so wonderful with lots of happy faces, like, thank you so much for being here. Or I've been to my doctor and it's been a nightmare. Or I'm not getting the treatment I need. Man, I've never had my PSA tested. And it's high. Okay, what do I do about it?
Yeah.
We're here to help.
Great.
At the end of the day, we like to say we treat every man like a king, which in turn is going to help improve the lives, not only of them, but their wife, and if they have kids, their family as well.
Yeah, and that resonates. The concentric circles just go further and further and further.
Right.
Feel better about what you're doing at home, and you've got the energy for it. You're going to go out in your community, and you're going to make an impact.
Sure.
You're going to go to your business, your work, wherever, it just, I think health, I don't think, I mean, I could probably prove, other people have proven it much smarter than me. Health is a force multiplier.
Absolutely.
When you're good inside and out, and you have the intellectual understanding of where your body's at and why you are the way you are and how you can improve it, everything else around you resonates, and it's a little bit better. It all becomes a little better.
Yeah, I mean, if you Google the best companies to work for in any city or the country, and you look at what they're doing, more than not, it's not just the environment, it's the health and wellness that they give to their employees.
Yeah.
How much money they give to them through HSA, other options. We've had a couple companies here in town that have paid for comprehensive blood panels just so their employees can be, well.
That's a benefit.
Like
yeah.
other companies that pay for your gym memberships.
Yep.
Same thing. So we're really working with a lot of the corporations in all the different cities or small businesses to say, hey, we're here to help too.
That's great. I love it. Russell, thank you for joining us.
Awesome.
Gameday Men's Health. Go check them out online. 2 locations, one over by Landfall off Military Cutoff in the Food Line Shopping
Yes.
Center, and then one over on 17th Street by the hospital. And until next time, I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Connect Cape Fear podcast. Go out, continue to make our community great, support local businesses, and then also help all the nonprofits and all the great people that are around here doing great work within our communities. And we'll talk to you next time.
Thanks so much.